what will it take to break the Kingpin's control over the Punisher, and once Frank's mind is returned to him, what will stop him from burning down all of New York? Well, let's hop into the pages of The Punisher Red Band issue number 3 and find out what happens next together, shall we? So then, picking up directly from where the last issue left off, a mind-controlled Punisher had been sent by the Kingpin on a deadly mission to intercept a truck that was trafficking human beings from Kurdistan. Simply taking out the driver of the truck was an uphill battle. Once that was done, the Punisher thought it would be easy sailing from there on out. Unfortunately, that's never the case, as once he went to try and open the back of the truck, he was only met with a much bigger, much angrier, much stronger thug. If the tattoo on this guy's arm wasn't a dead giveaway, it seems that he works for some sort of Celtic criminal syndicate, though as a lifelong fan of both the Boston Celtics and the Glasgow Celtics, every time I see that word I end up doing a double take. Am I the only one? Now, while this guy is certainly big and strong, he is lacking in the Punisher's unhinged brutality. You see, the second Frank's back is up against the wall, he just decides to rip this dude's throat out like it was made of wet newspaper. Now, while that's incredibly cool and incredibly bloody, the Punisher doesn't end up walking away from this battle unscathed. He's been thoroughly knocked around, bruised, and bloodied, but it's his mental state that's really coming undone right now. Even the trafficked women who he saved aren't sure who they should be more afraid of, the people who took them or the guy who saved them. Frank rips inside his head, desperately trying to take out the machinery that the Kingpin saddled him with, and when he lashes out at the women, Wilson's response is fittingly dark and villainous. He basically says, "Oh sure, Frank, while you're at it, you might as well kill some of those women. They're prostitutes after all, they're sinners. And their deaths could very well serve sending a message to the rest of the city." Wow, this dude really got religion. And all the worst puritanical stuff that comes with it. Another reminder is, if you needed it, the Kingpin might very well be going after other criminal organizations, but not because he's a good guy, but because he has a brand new warped ideology that still allows him to lash out and hurt people, including poor unfortunate souls like Microchip, who he's been running into the absolute ground, using him to try and manipulate the Punisher from afar. Now, as bad as Chip has it, he still is doing better than poor Detective Fishbank, who was kidnapped by Tombstone at the end of the previous issue. Lonnie has taken the poor detective to the home owned by the old lady who sheltered Frank back in issue 1. Tombstone is still royally pissed about his missing fentanyl shipment, and because of that, he is willing to butcher this poor detective piece by piece unless the old lady is able to drop a dime on the guy she fished out of the water. Sadly, the old lady doesn't have much information to go on outside the fact that the mystery man was wearing a skull. Naturally, that was all Tombstone needed to hear, meaning that by the time Detective Grace Jones and the rest of the cops show up on the scene, both the old lady and Fishbank are long dead. In fact, they were done in an incredibly gruesome manner, even for a Red Band comic like this one. Like, so gruesome, in fact, I wonder if YouTube is gonna have a problem with this. Now, after the Kingpin turned Microchip off for the night, not wanting to ruin one of his finest acquisitions, Frank is actually free to wander around on his own. His memories are still scattered, but still in his mentally vulnerable state, instinct kicks in and he finds his way back to one of his old Punisher safe houses, a place where he is slowly but surely able to remind himself what brought him to this moment, how the Kingpin somehow stole him away from Weird World and did ungodly experiments to gain control of him. Now the poor Punisher is being used as the Kingpin's unwilling weapon of war as part of a bigger plan to try and kickstart a massive gang war that Wilson not only plans to win, but to also rebuild from the ashes once everything is all said and done. And he might just have managed to get away with it too, were it not for the Punisher finding one of his old dog tags and being able to remember that he is indeed Frank Castle. Though, unfortunately for Frank, his involvement hasn't gone over the head of the police too. Back at HQ, we see Detective Grace Jones holding a massive meeting, wherein they basically blame everything that's happened in the series up until now on the newly returned Punisher, even the stuff he didn't do, like killing the old lady in Fishbank. They even put a good little joke in the briefing too, saying that there's been plenty of copycats and wannabes out there, but they know full well that this is the real deal Punisher, and that everything just got real very quickly. Now, how the hell is the Punisher going to get himself out of this one? Well, for starters, he's going to need to purge Kingpin from his mind, but he can't do that on his own, so as the comic comes to a close, Frank decides to kidnap a couple EMTs at gunpoint and promises to blow them all up with a bomb if they don't do important brain surgery on him right now. And so that was the Punisher Red Band issue number 3, everyone. A pretty good issue that I was hoping was going to be a great issue, but then again, it is kind of the awkward middle child of this story. As far as things I continue to enjoy, Benjamin Percy does a great job with the overall mood of this story. It is fittingly dark, fittingly noir, fittingly Punisher. In fact, the vibes are so immaculate, I'm not surprised at all that this miniseries is actually getting extended into a full-on ongoing one that I hope lasts for a while. As far as stuff I was less hot on, it's unfortunate that we don't actually get an answer as to how the Punisher came back from Weird World. I know I might be one of the few people in the world who actually cares, and in the long run it probably makes more sense to not explain that little piece of history. Hell, for all we know, Jason Aaron might want to come back and do a mini one day. But still, I'd rather have something over nothing. Similarly, Frank managing to regain his lost memories pretty quickly was a little anticlimactic, but then again, I suppose this was originally meant to be a mini-series, and as such, they kind of gotta move fast. Religious Zealot Kingpin also continues to be a lot of fun too, as they keep revealing new and newer layers of sleaze, evil, and corruption. In fact, I like this new version of Kingpin so much, I wonder what's actually gonna happen to him at the end of this story. We got a new Daredevil run coming very soon. I doubt they would let the Punisher kill him. But after everything Wilson has done to Frank in this story, you figure he'd have to get some comeuppance at some point. Overall, I think I'd feel comfortable giving this one a 7 out of 10, and I'll be interested to see how it all shakes out. Hey there everyone, it's your pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing my face right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, and I'll always be grateful for that. Retention helps in this crazy YouTube game, and so does becoming a patron. If you head on down to the description, you can find a link to my Patreon page. Recently just redid all the tiers, a lot of cool stuff offering up there, exclusive commentaries, exclusive polls, behind the scenes concept art for Capes and Quest. That's the brand new D&D show I've started soon. Never been a better time to become a patron. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month and help the channel grow, and help me continue to deliver content like what you just saw. So I want to thank you all, and I will see you again next time. Bye bye.